yes is why they can do it.
Yes, we can is our mantra for the 9-game dream and also our 6th game of the night. We are 7 p.m., 7:20 p.m. Korean Standard Time. Seems like our 3rd series will start a little bit late. That is Afrika versus MVP in our final series tonight. Gonna hope to get an update on our old mate ADD's condition for that one. Would love to see him playing, but obviously the recoup time, unlikely to see him there. We'll see what happens with that one later. Zooming in on this one, another Galio blue side ban. We see it from Hanwha Life. Let's see what Hanwha Life are looking for, because they definitely had some plans, some grand plans in game number 1, but weren't really able to actually put them together.
Yeah, and remember their red side bans were kind of interesting on in game number 1 as well, as Swain and Morgana were their follow-up bans to the Aatrox. That's been first ban on red side almost every time. Jinnae actually going to be banning away the Trundle. That's going to be the adaptation.
Trundle is very infrequently a 1st-round pick. It's usually a 2nd-round pick on red side. I would have been surprised to see it taken that highly, but clearly Jinnae just don't want to see it from Songwon ever again, and after the last game, I can definitely get behind that.
Yep, could understand. It's now Hanwha Life. They're going to ban Taliyah on the blue side, not wanting to fall into the trap of picking that one up and then getting Malphite ulted underneath the turret and dying.
You know, I feel like perhaps those two things don't have to be hand in hand, but it's been an interesting series.
It's been a weird and wonderful series, Papa.
I didn't say that. You said that. I'm holding on to that one for later. There's still time, Atlas.
All right, well, Jinnae, still time for them to ban their last champion. 3 seconds to go.
They just ban Shen and not really care about Nocturne. They'll ban the Swain, so they don't want to give away the flex pick Swain. That makes sense. I don't think you really care about Nocturne anymore. Maybe Jinnae will still take Nocturne Shen, but I like the first pick Shen because Nocturne keeps losing and Shen's pretty damn good.
Yeah, I feel like this is what Jinnae were missing out on in game number 1. As you highlighted so beautifully, Hanwha Life going to go for it yet again. They weren't punished in the laning phase. Everything was fine with the Xayah instead. Jinnae could just lock in Xayah Rakan right now if they wanted to, but
I'd be a bigger fan of that than
this.
Nocturne X.
Yeah.
You could take Nocturne Xayah.
You could, and then it'd be difficult to pick Rakan unless you do some weird funnel.
That's true.
Oh
Hanwha Life are a
God.
weird funnel team.
They are. That could be the ultra outplay, is if Xayah's picked here, and then Hanwha go, all right, and then pick Kai'Sa Rakan. Oh.
It's just dirty. Let's not talk about that. Let's take a bath in fun stuff, like Gragas, for example.
Yeah, like 2 champions that they just lost on pretty horrendously in game number 2.
It couldn't go worse.
Hey, that's true. There's
Glass
only an upside.
half full, baby.
Mm-hmm. Well, Hanwha Life could still do their weird and wonderful plan.
Kai'Sa Braum would actually not be the worst draft here. Of course, that would mean the Shen is going somewhere weird, but
Or into the jungle.
hard to get the Braum. I like Braum into Gragas a lot. That's why my mind went there, but obviously with the Shen, it's very unlikely, even though we have seen top lane Shen played. The Sejuani priority's coming back up as people realize that Kindred's too hard to win with, so don't bother playing her anymore.
Yep. And also knowing that it's into a Nocturne means that it's a pretty easy laning phase as well. Easy early few levels for the Sejuani at the same time. Lava had a great game on Zoe in game number 1 and will just run it back.
Would you dare
Game
run it
number
back
3,
if
sorry.
you're Grace for a 3rd game of Orianna?
Oh, I mean, he was doing okay until everything went really wrong.
I think Orianna fits with the 2 champions that have been drafted. I think you would probably just go Galio if you hadn't have had that banned against you. So let's see what Jinnae decide here. You could also attack the lane with something like a LeBlanc, but doesn't seem what Grace wants to do. Grace's counter picks have been so good, Atlas. Remember the Renekton versus Kled mid, the Anivia against the Bruiser comp, but gonna stick with Orianna and just try to adjust his play, and you know, I think that definitely has some merit in this game number 3.
He doesn't have to worry about pillars anymore because, of course, Trundle was banned by Jinnae. So it's lucky. Mondo going to be picked up as the first ban here for Jinnae. And see what Hanwha Life are going to answer with. As it looks like Jinnae are going to be focusing on the top side of the map in order to thin that one out. Everything given away as far as solo lanes in the mid lane.
If I'm Hanwha Life, I want Ashe, just to go for a full pick comp, but also with the ability to use the Hawk Shot to spot out the Nocturne. As Hanwha Life already have a lot of pick in their first 3 champion choices. Jinnae, though, very much about the engage once again. see what they want to find themselves for the top lane. It's likely to be one of Gragas or something that can be blind picked. If it was BBQ, I'd be talking a lot about the Cho'Gath. And Cho'Gath could certainly still be considered for one of these teams. Can be strong in a pick comp too if he doesn't have to do the heavy lifting of starting off the pick himself.
It's true. With the Vladimir banned away, Jin Air might actually consider an Ashe themselves. Pick that one away from Hanwha Life and move Teddy onto more of a traditional carry. Oh, God. This would certainly be throwing a gauntlet.
It is Teddy, who has been playing precious little marksman recently. This Kennen is a bit of a flex pick, likely to be So1's pick. They're either going to have to pick a marksman or blind pick their top lane. They're going to blind pick the Kennen. Not too many picks into Kennen that win the lane super hard outside of the Jace.
Sungin once again going to flash us the Heimerdinger, which is one way of getting a Shen through a laning phase, to have a champion that's happy to lane 1v2 basically. But the Ezreal is available this time around.
And he wants to get away from Wombo, so why not opt out with the Ezreal? Last pick here is going to be the pick into the Kennen. Against these strong laners, you can always roll the dice on the Camille. Very go big or go home choice.
Certainly not going to be super tanky apart from Songwon in the jungle. Don't know whether we can guarantee him getting as fed as he was in game number 2. So Hanwha Life Esports again wanting to pick for as powerful laning phase as they can possibly get.
And the Camille also holds Kai'Sa accountable if it ends up being a last pick Kai'Sa.
That's
of
true.
course can't dodge out of it. Maybe you just go for lane strength. There's a lot of Caitlyn and Korean solo queue right now, and there's been a couple of games in the LCK as well. Hasn't really impressed too much, and instead, we go the opposite of Caitlyn. It might be a lane dominant champion, but it's the Mordekaiser. The range has been constricted quite a damn lot. And this is the duo that they played very, very recently. They went for this duo against, I believe it was MVP, and their 2-1 victory was the bot lane Gragas and Mordekaiser. The Bruise Bros under a different guise. They're ready to roll.
Yeah, I actually love this. Combination on the bottom side of the map, so much CC and repositioning to come in from Nova, so much added agency with the W on top of him. Extra damage, extra healing. Jin Air have a lot of tools now on the bottom side of the map and so on. If he is going to go the press the attack variant of the Kennen, they have still some consistent damage in some fights if they do come down. Plus, they've still got the Wombo of old with the Paranoia into the Shockwave. So Jin Air certainly... Some desperation in our Jin Air fans in the audience. Humpty's changed skins, so not going to be the hipster like he was before. He's going to go for the other release skin on Nocturne, the frosty one.
Trying to find the right spot this game, as the spots were definitely not working out for him in game number 2.
Certainly has had a bit of a rough time. Game number 2. Game number 1 was great, though, so let's just run that one back. Seems like when you're wearing the red shorts on the side of Humpty, you're feeling a little bit better.
I remember that. A lot of discussion about the Nocturne skin, the one that's being selected here, the Ice release skin, I guess it was when it was released, because it had new particles back in the day when new particles was not something you expected with a skin.
Yeah, it was actually very confusing.
And then the Spooky one was released afterwards and didn't have unique particles,
yeah,
and people got really mad. No, it didn't on release.
Oh, right. Yeah,
and they eventually changed it and went forward. It's not a sellout moment, just remembering that skin releases were a very different thing back in the day.
Also, this Mordekaiser skin was absolutely awful before it got remade.
I'm pretty sure Kobe played that exact Nocturne skin in competitive play. Exactly.
Wow. When
a million years ago. A million years ago. Well, here we are, a million years later. Game number 3 of potentially 9 tonight. Did end up being Press the Attack Kennen, which has been by far the majority so far in recent memory after a couple of AP games. Songwon spotted, walking up to the top side scuttle.
Red buff 2 scuttle is going to be his path. Gonna head back down to his blue buff most likely, as he did manage to pick up at least his red. There's Teddy with a pretty huge shield, but Nova with not very much of his health bar. Songin and Key will have a rough time in this laning phase, given the fact that Shen is pretty much a no-one, and that's just an Ezreal laning against a Mordekaiser and a Gragas.
Good thing about Shen, though, is once you hit level 2 or 3 here on the bot side, Shen actually is really strong against the double bruiser lanes against the double melees can actually influence it quite a lot. Taunt gets a lot of value. The dodge field for melee champions gets a lot of value. So there is the potential to really punish. Teddy went smite, we should mention.
Oh,
and
wow.
thus is ducking in and out. So he is going to use the ability to get some more camps here, and the Gromp will probably be his for the majority of the game.
Also, Rift Scuttles on the bottom side of the map, unless Umpty's going to be there in time like he was for the first one.
You don't even need your jungler to take the Drake as well.
Exactly, that's the huge thing. Also, they had a bit of trouble locking down the Baron in game number 1. If you remember, loitering for 20 minutes was the thing that they were doing, as Soan's going to get ganked on the top side, has to use the flash, the stun comes down, as Linderung was considering a dive, and then considers against it.
Actually really tricky to get the flash out of a cannon, so well done. Getting the summoner there is not trivial, as bot lane.
Well, Key's going to be left on his own on the bottom side. The taunt not going to land there, as Teddy picked up turret aggro first and takes way too much damage. A dive at level 4 is difficult.
Thought it was a visual bug. So many abilities didn't hit in a row.
Yeah. Once again, Soan actually going to spot Songwon here, which is always a little bit of a worry. Gets the stun onto Miss Piggy.
Of course, press the
300
attack
health there.
procs as well, but not going to be enough damage to take him down. And a lot of inaction happen in very flashy ways, and Umpty just says, whatever, I'm taking my blue.
And he does so. So he uses the last of his mana in order to do it. Thankfully, not going to get 3 buffed this game. Just the regular 2, and they trade Rift Scuttles as well. But Songwan manages to get a flash on the top laner while he's doing it. And Umpty going to continue plowing through camp. So he's a couple ahead. But that ain't anything to worry about here for Jin Air fans.
What Teddy's showing is a variant on what SMLZ was doing at Rift Rivals with the Smite bot lane Karthus. And of course a variant on the self-funnel we see in the mid lane with Talon and other champions. Still on 8-13, guys. 8-14 rolls through. Assumedly next week, so there's no nerfs to having too much experience and thus taking less gold from lane CS. Ability to duck out, take the Gromp almost instantly, such as Mordekaiser, and just smite the cannon minion and clear the wave and push. And from that pushing, Mordekaiser gets priority, Mordekaiser gets access to the Drake first. A lot of good news potentially around this Mordekaiser smite and the bot side. Cool innovation from Teddy.
Yeah, I'm excited. Also able to get a lot of forward vision here. Jin Air spotting out Songwan yet again. Nova and Teddy going to walk up. And now it's going to be the smite battle, as I believe Nova knows what's going on here, as there's the flash taunt. The Gragas just going to get bursted down before he can even flash. And that was a little bit premeditated, and Jin Air probably should have known.
And Nova didn't know. Oh, Nova didn't know. I don't know if you should tell him, but he definitely didn't.
Does he have a friend called Fiona?
No, but he does have one called Scotty.
Oh, no. Scotty didn't know either.
Well,
that's where he gets it from.
Hanwha Life knew, and they're trying to take the Drake before Teddy even hits level 6. They're going to feel really good about that. Nova will slowly get to bot lane, and sadly, the first Drake of the game doesn't go the way of Jin.
Yep, it's often a big problem for the Mordekaiser compositions as well, as yep, the Drake is going to be taken very easily, very early. Sungyun even able to pretty happily 1 versus 2 now that Hanwha Life Esports have so much control of the bottom side of the map. Minion wave cleared out very easily by the duo lane of Jin Air. That's about all we can talk about, really. And in the meantime, it's a Sheen first Sungyun who's able to play with a lot of lane control.
Someone try to take an aggressive trade here. If the E is used aggressively, then he's in trouble.
Well, there's the E used aggressively from Soan, and Linderung has to flash to get himself out of the way. Umpty hanging around, not going to be able to get a gank, but gets a flash.
Lethal Tempo procs, but no real reason to flash in there. Wouldn't have had enough damage to finish him off as Ignite pilfered and thus used for a bit of harass onto Grace.
Yep, Lava running out of mana pretty quickly, so probably wants to just shove this wave forward. Missing that paddle start earlier on the back line creeps was actually more of a big deal than we probably think it was.
Now, Teddy doesn't have Relic Shield, because of course went into the Smite line. That does mean they can't just double Relic the minion wave, which is what happens usually when we see the Mordekaiser and the Gragas. Still going to be quick clear, but again, used to double Relic, double Guardian in a lot of these lanes, and not seeing that this time.
Yeah, at least single Guardian coming out from Teddy, but Aftershock being opted in for from Nova, as we talked about. Teddy just doing his best to avoid the skill shots coming in from Sungyun, who does have to worry about his mana pool just a little bit now that he doesn't have the tier on first back. But just going to wait for his teleport to be back up. Another thing that Songyun is going to have in advantage over Teddy.
Happy to have Ocean Drake as the first spawn as well. That's the flexibility of the Ezreal. Can go Sheen against these mages. Ult's thrown.
Yeah, flies through, but Nova, body slam, very heads up on the mechanics there. So the Gragas gets him out of the way as Linderung has found Umti. He's got a spell shield, and Linderung doesn't want to get feared. Realizes that, hang on, this level 5 Nocturne is actually doing a lot of work with this red buff available.
Like Linderung and Hanwha Life, doing a lot of work to shut down Scuttles and any sort of snowball for Umti, who has been well held on this Nocturne more often than not. Already saw that someone had a significant experience advantage, propping up in the bot lane.
Oh no.
And
the
speaking
early
of,
smoke.
yeah, speaking of an advantage and experience, further experience stolen away by Lava.
Yep, and clears out the mid wave very easily. The back timing was decent from Grace though, so he was going to be able to head back to that lane, grab all of that farm.
Consider when Umti's going to hit level 6. I believe he will off the Big Wolf, but look at the timer here. 8 minutes 31 is when he hit 6. Now, he did have his bot laner stealing away his Gromp, so there was at least some experience that wasn't available to him. But when the enemy team does a number on you, and when Hanwha Life sees, hey, he's not going to be getting all his camps, clearly the Mordekaiser is taking some with the bot lane smite. If you also work hard and deny the Scuttles and invade and take his camps, there's just a finite amount of experience for the Nocturne to pick up.
And you can see that is to his detriment. Now, wanting to utilize the paranoia somewhere. Songwon also with a few ideas of his own. Thankfully, there's a lane ward here for So1, so he should be able to spot this one out, unless the Sejuani doesn't move out of that brush. True Shot Barrage avoided by the bottom lane of Jin Air. You can see So1 without any vision of where Songwon is, but he's playing very respectfully as this wave moves forward.
Songwon doesn't have ult just yet.
Well, there it is, the flash immediately. A lot of respect from So1. He had a feeling that there was someone in that brush, and once again, as the flash comes up, it goes back down.
Nocturne when it comes to lane to ganks. Bot lane is probably the one that offers him the most chance with the Gragas Cask. Mid lane, gank for an Orianna this early is not going to work against Zoe. Linderung with flash down is a possibility, but he's tried it a couple of times. Another jungle battle.
Yep, this time Umti's going to be able to get it.
After the burst damage, okay.
Yeah.
I'm getting it now. I'm learning about jungle.
Nice. That's the burst damage, though.
I'm learning about jungle.
Yeah, that's not the burst damage that you want, as Umti's once again going to die.
Having a bit of a great fall this game after a good start in game number 1. Let's see if the Bruise Bros can find a way to actually set up for this Mountain Drake, though, because they missed out on the first one. And Songwon, first thought is to jump over to the Rift Herald. He'll back away, noticing that Orianna has ducked out. Hanwha Life, 2 kills to the good in the early game.
But Grace hasn't died just yet, so still going to be continuing to farm pretty happily here in the mid lane. In fact, him and Lava are doing a very good job keeping minion waves sorted out, as Teddy just going to keep himself healthy with that W. And the Mordekaiser Gragas is going to be okay. It is a quite considerable lead for Teddy as he's been shoving minion wave after minion wave into the turret.
So1 only has a Vamp Scepter, So1 only has a Vamp Scepter, so turret diving is very possible.
Well, Hextech Ultimatum is going to come down, slicing Maelstrom to get some stuns here as Linderung has to be careful, but calculated. He's going to be down to sub 100 health, but still survives, and they're looking for another one. Paranoia not going to be able to get it there, Umti, as that seems like a tilt play to me, but we'll save the turret for now.
Stopwatch is up. That's something he didn't factor in. Thought it was a free kill. No free kill. Loses his flash and his ultimate. Teddy and Nova used the time to push up in the bot lane, so at least time was wasted. Okay.
Well, yeah, flash to come in here as the ultimate and the ignite down. Teddy flashes over, but Lava is going to be in here and just pops the Mord instantly. Stopwatches once again utilized, and Hanwha Life Esports are making Jin Air look silly. Lava, he wants more as Nova's taking a lot of damage. The Paddle Star, this one will kill him. Nice dodge, but not nice enough. Another stopwatch, but where are you going to go, Nova? The answer is nowhere. Or the Death Chamber. You
can definitely tell what brand the stopwatch is on both sides. Rolexes for the side of Hanwha Life, and sadly, it's Lolex for the side of Jin Air. It's the off-brand version, unfortunately.
Oh, no.
Not being able to use it just well. They got it from a street vendor who looked a bit unscrupulous, and it seems like Jin Air are once again getting snowballed on in game number 3.
Yep, those sundials are not what you want to use, Jin Air. And you're right, the Rolexes, much like the really super cool bus that Hanwha Life Esports has, been giving them the right stuff, as So1 at least now with most of his Blade of the Ruin King will be able to get some work done, but Earlier on, with just the Vamp Scepter, things were looking real bad. Jin, is this the same situation as it was in game number 2, though, Papa? Do they have... Is it the same situation? Is it even worse, given the fact that now this is a Mordekaiser comp?
I would tend to think it is at least slightly worse. The Mordekaiser comp hasn't completely gone off the rails. The Mordekaiser has a CS lead. They're pushing the bot side. They can get some Drakes. Maybe they can cause some map pressure. But unfortunately, they've been well out-dueled in the last couple of minutes. A lot of summoners are on cooldown. And they're not able to control that bot side, despite investing 3 control wards. They can't take the second Drake of the game.
Nope. And he's going to be top side of the map. Will have his paranoia by the time he makes it towards bottom side. But if Hanwha Life Esports are going to start this one up right now, there's not going to be a lot of opportunity for to get here in time. Also, doesn't have his flash available. It's 5-0 in kills. It's close to a 4,000 gold lead. In fact, it's almost more than a 4,000 gold lead here. Hanwha Life just clear out all of that vision that Jin Air invested in. And now looking to try and take down Grace in the mid lane. Immediately cleanses, holds onto the flash. That is huge news for the Jin Air mid laner. Use just the shorter cooldown summoner instead of the flash.
3 kills Zoe walking up. Teddy loses his Iron Man shield through all this. Some poke from Sangyun. So hard for them to control an area because if it's an even numbers situation, they're an item completion behind the enemy team in many ways. Very hard to fight here. Experience also on the side of Hanwha Life. Doesn't want a face check.
Well, he is going to. Dustbringer will give him the extra movement speed to make it away from the Sejuani. Sangyun pushes another minion wave forward. Teddy will have to answer that. And that will give priority over to Hanwha once again to clear out whichever minions that they want to. Sorry, whichever wards that they want to. And the Dragon going to be the next option here. So the Dragon monopoly continues for Hanwha Life, and that is bad news for the Mordekaiser comp.
Definitely is Atlas. Second Drake rolls down. Linderung has had a great laning phase. We've been able to overextend because Sungwon has made a couple of visits topside to allow the Camille versus ranged laner to work. In case you guys are wondering, because we're seeing a bit more Camille top recently and not into Mundo, which is a match that Camille was initially struggling on. Again, Camille jungle seen as a situational counter to a Kindred jungle if you can play aggressively. And it's the same in top lane if it's a Kennen, if it's a Jace. If Camille can always hook shot forward and take instant damage trades with a Sheen, you're going to win the lane. If the Camille gets snowballed on, she cannot put up that sort of a defense and the lane doesn't work. So if you can play aggressively, you're empowered by your jungler and your comp, you can actually win lanes that are very tricky for most melee champions.
Yeah. This time around, it's been pretty easy. Belindarung just casually hanging out up here after that dive netted kill number 2, I believe, to Songwon. Actually, no, that was first blood. He was kill number 2. Now, Songwon hanging out, just going to take down Shelly. Hanwha Life Esports seem to have run of the map.
It's a perfect 15 minutes for the side of Hanwha Life. Already, because of all the caveats of not having Drake control with a Smite Mordekaiser, not being able to find Nocturne ultimates that trade up, starting to worry about how clean this close might be from Hanwha Life, and such a counterpoint to some of their recent games that have been very much struggling to have this level of game.
Even game number 1, dang, someone just being a potato on the Taliyah, turning it around to a godlike performance on the Nocturne is now solo kill onto Grace. The hula hoop to celebrate. Thankfully, not going to go on to cooldown, but that means he's dead.
He certainly is the most dead. Nothing else for me to contribute there.
Yeah.
Grace has been solo killed a few times this series. We're going for more kills.
Yeah, that's another ultimate. Huge Winter's Wrath as well out of the Sejuani, but Umti's trying to turn this one around. Teddy is still on full health as Songwon's going to go down, and that's Children of the Grave to give an extra member over to Jin Air. They should be able to get an outer turret on the top side of the map.
Lava can follow. He picked up the teleport, actually, used in the mid lane, but can't actually find a spot for it. Sangyun just getting rid of the ghost there.
Yep, Songwon, in fact, defected as Linderung's going to teleport topside. They're looking to grab this. There's another teleport to come in as well. There's the ultimate to come out from Linderung, but immediately Umti uses the stopwatch. Everyone very low health as Hanwha Life are the ones in control, and they've got the AD carry as well. Sungyun waiting for another arcane shift forward. The stun onto Teddy, who flashes after them. He's so durable somehow with all of the snares, all the shields coming in, as there's another one from Grace. He finally finds it. That ain't a hula hoop, that's a double kill.
1,050 gold also onto Grace. He got 750 taking down the Zoe, thanks to how much snowball gold is in the game. It's not trivial how much gold the Orianna picked up instantly there. And that's the sort of thing that could turn around the game when it comes to a future engage. Gonna watch the replay here. Hanwha Life could have just abated. They already got such a big lead, but, you know, they get that rush of blood to the head. They see low health members. Lava roams up and it's 3-0. Surely this is the time to cash in. They get a couple to begin, but already it's instantly traded. And then Orianna scurrying to the top side, sees that there will be kills in the disarray of this. Watch the kill onto Lava. Flashes in for it. Nicely done. 750 gold on the first, 300 on the second, 1,050 out of nowhere. And item completions that were looking impossible are going to become reality.
Yeah, that was right on the edge of the shockwave there as well for Grace. Goes home, almost builds his Morellonomicon as key. Wants to clear out some vision here, but Nova should be able to answer the control ward. Decides that they're not strong enough to hold position. Outer turret still up here on the top side of the map. Teddy clears out as much as he can. Shruti Force yet to be built for Linderung. He's now roaming around his bottom side jungle. Blade of the Ruin King done for so on. However, Hanwha Life Esports, even though this is a 2v2 as they thought, it's not going to be anymore. As Paranoia once again, I think I've seen this movie before, guys.
How does it go?
There's a huge cask to knock someone back, and he's not going to survive this one. Again, Children of the Grave is going to be utilized by Teddy, but are they going to overextend? I think they've seen this episode as well, and they're going to change it.
Atlas, is it live or rerun? Can you confirm? Please confirm.
I'm not entirely sure. My memory ain't great enough. As Nova, he's once again going to be hit by a trouble bubble, but eats it. Is going to be okay.
Sungyun has been auto-attacking someone for a very long time.
Yeah, I wonder whether the Sejuani passive came back up, and that was the problem there.
They just really want this turret, and their only way to do it is to turret dive into a Nocturne, which, you know, there are better decisions to be made in the history of League of Legends. And for now, Jinna just keeps inching back into the game. There's only 500 gold behind the Orianna. For the Zoe,
yeah,
at 5-1 is actually less than 1,000 gold ahead of Orianna, which is insane given how this game has gone.
And if we go back to game number 2, I was asking you the question of, oh, is the money better on the Trundle? I think maybe it was. You know, because now it's looking like Lava, you know, he misses his buttons, that money's doing nothing, and Jinna seemed to understand what to do. Okay, barrel not there from Nova, not going to body slam to try and stop Shelly from coming in.
Didn't have flash either for the flash body slam. So, they're going to ride through the mid lane, and Zoe very strong in this terrain. That's the Banshee Veil off of the Orianna. That's a much faster Banshee Veil than she should have had, but 1,000 gold towards it. Does get over the hump there. Thing for Jinna here, what you need to understand is Zoe just shopped and has an incredible amount of ability power for 20 minutes. You need your control wards to fight for them, because if you're walking through warded rush, you will be one-shot by the Zoe, and 2 of those come through, the Baron comes in. Jinna have the ability for Nocturne to fly in, but Mordekaiser is going to take a long time to amble into a fight and cannot afford to be eating any poke from the Zoe.
Thankfully, he can eat at least, you know, one Sleepy Trouble Bubble, because he has the Zhonya's Hourglass that he rushed after his Runic Echoes that, of course, you are able to build. Could also go for that sort of build path on the next patch as well. Might miss out on the money from maybe a minion wave or 2, as Grace is going to eat up a Trouble Bubble. Jinna, they want to get a dragon. This is what this comp's supposed to do. It's Ocean and Mountain that were picked up already by Hanwha, and Jinna would have the opportunity of getting this Infernal if they can lock it down with their double smite.
They don't know where Linderung is. Hanwha Life pushing up vision as well, trying to make them as accountable as possible. And by them, we mean Jinna Green Wings. They start the Drake. That Scuttle Vision is going to run out, and of course, doesn't tell them the health bar of the Infernal.
Yep, and Teddy, he's moving towards the top side of the map, so they're going to give up another one. This Infernal will go down very quickly. Some reserved play, but I don't know whether Jinna needed to give that one up.
I think they do, because the alternative is that you know they have forward vision, and you walk into a Trouble Bubble or a Camille, and you just die. So they didn't really have a way to get to the Drake without taking too much damage, and we'll pull away. I agree, like, Do they have the ability to get through this game giving up all the Drakes? Maybe the answer is no, but I don't think giving kills to Hanwha Life is the solution there either. So they choose this time to raise the white flag.
Yep, and it is going to mean that Teddy gets to push a big minion wave into the top side. Sungyun is going to be there in time to pick up the whole wave, though. Not able to get some meaningful turret damage, down to below half health, but I mean, what would the alternative be? Not a whole lot of difference. Double tier being picked up already by Sungyun, has that first transformation, now going for the Seraph's Embrace. Ezreal going to be doing a hell of a lot of damage.
Teddy slowing down on a bit of damage here. Ninja Tabi and also the Spectre's Cowl picked up to understand that otherwise the chances of him being poked out before he gets to the fight are very high. Yep. So respectful in the build, but low on the damage. Does have a lot of damage dealers on his side, so maybe can afford to be a bit more of a tank. Getting that first victim, that first Children of the Grave victim, so important for the Mordekaiser, and maybe that'll be enough for them to turn the tides of a fight.
Being utilized twice,
and doesn't know about this.
Yeah, we'll see whether Slicing Maelstrom is going to be enough. That ultimate just going to be interrupted completely. The fear comes in, Linderung is going to die, and unfortunately nothing worked out for the Camille.
Nice play from the side of Jin Air, not worried about Hanwha Life turning onto a Baron just yet. 23 minutes into the game. A random sampler of Drake's not going to be enough for the Baron to start, so they get a freebie. But look at this. In spite of all that, Hanwha Life are going to walk onto the pit. Nothing creative this time, no teleport, but they are starting the Baron.
Yep, immediately it is going to be spotted out by Scrying Orb. So on, his teleport is available. Jin Air may have just been handed a teamfight they can win on a silver platter. As you see Grace, you have to respect that ball. They do. Hanwha Life are going to get out of the way. That was an opportunistic Baron, but a good idea to turn off.
One of those things where you might say, but, okay, Hanwha Life has a marksman. They could actually do the Baron. They've got a Mountain Drake, an Inferno, and you're right about that. Issue is, at the moment that Jin Air see the Baron around 6,000 health, Jin Air have the ability with Kennen and Orianna to punish you in a really big way. Gragas also with the cask, so smart to pull away when they did. Smart to start it as well, just to force the positioning from Jin Air. Sungyun going to teleport top to pick up the minion wave. But this game, consider where it was. What is it, maybe 10 minutes ago? Is now 1,000 gold and then some.
Yeah, it's absolutely nothing. Jin Air being able to get themselves back in. It was 5-0. There was perfect game pace available for Hanwha Life. And now, yes, Hanwha have got all three of the Drakes, but like you say, the gold completely even, and Jin Air's got standing gold on the map as well for when they can get to it. Top lane outer turret being where my eyes are drawn, but mid lane outer turret going to be another thing that Jin Air really want to aim for.
It always feels like Hanwha Life are in this nebulous spot where they're either the worst playoffs-bound team or the best team that won't be making playoffs. And they've definitely been up and down in this series as well. They're pushing through mid lane with just Linderung, but there's pincers from every side coming here. Who's ganking who?
Yeah, exactly. Umti's just saying, please, where's the fight going to actually start? Is okay. Key's going to be the one to face check immediately. Flashes to get himself out of the way. And that timing was actually great for Umti to stay alive, but terrible for Jin Air because they lose 2 inner turrets just off poor positioning of minion waves.
Definitely seems like Hanwha Life were making the more committed translation by just walking through and taking things, and Umti waiting. Wasn't in service of a big play at all. Map's getting longer and longer, Atlas. 2 turrets in the mid lane, 2 turrets in the top lane. So much space for someone like Linderung to find unsuspecting Grace and take down this Orianna. Orianna working on probably Void Staff as the next item.
Would make sense. Third item, Void Staff, off in the way. Interesting build choice from Teddy. He's going Spirit Visage. Item number 3 just wants to be as tanky as possible.
You want something really interesting?
What's
How
that?
about Black Cleaver on the King?
All right.
That might be a first time ever. Also, don't really know who he's shredding for. They have a Mordekaiser. Himself, obviously, is the answer, but, you know.
And Umti.
Yeah, I mean, no.
Yeah.
Umti's going to do the sick fly in and die, which is just what happens with
Fly
Nocturne
and
in the late
die.
game.
Yep, that's pretty much how it works.
They're actually quite a long way away from the pace here. So it's already down to 7,000. They spotted at 7,000.
Umti does have Paranoia, so pretty easy to get into this pit if they can put a control ward down in there.
But he has Flash. They're respecting this one.
Grace is going to turn up. Hanwha see that it's pretty low. As yeah, Teddy, can he actually flash in there? Remember, he's got one as well, but nope. It is going to go over to Hanwha. Oh, that shockwave was emphasis on the shock. And Jin Air Not going to use the teleport from So-On. They wanted to get the steal. Teddy, not used to smite stealing, isn't going to get it.
Ability to get over the pit. Didn't want to flash early. Couldn't flash the almost point-blank Sejuani ultimate, so they don't get a smite into the pit. Nova doesn't have Unseen Spellbook, so isn't able to switch over to a smite of his own. This will repel the side lanes, allow Hanwha Life to push forward. Again, not a game breaker still. Still not going to be a 5,000 gold lead in this game, but a good moment for Hanwha Life.
Yeah, 4,000, pretty close. We'll see. There's only one inner turret remaining. Remember, it's 5-1. If Jin Air get any sort of momentum on these structures, the gold lead's going to swing over to them very quickly. Jin Air just need a way in. They need an opportunity, and if it's going to be Hanwha now spending Baron buff time on this Infernal Drake, could actually be huge news, because that means it's not used sieging this inner turret bottom side or the inhibitor turrets top of it.
I believe we have a competitive first of Spirit Visage Mordekaiser and Black Cleaver Kennen in the same game.
Yeah.
On the same team, no less.
I mean, I feel like it's a lot of conditions, but still, I think it would be the first time that has happened.
Whenever it's a first, call it out, embrace it. That's happening in this game. Doesn't mean their damage isn't super high, and they are behind in gold. They're going to give up the Infernal. The Mordekaiser with Smite wasn't meant to lose 4 Drakes, but that's just how the game has gone.
Yeah. And a lot of control once again from Songwon, who's been an absolute hero in the last 1 and 2 games. Paranoia going to come in here as Grace looking for a Shockwave target. But Paranoia is just going to be invested and not actually acted upon, as Linderung did have a decent flank. It's a pincer move here from Jin Air as Linderung moves bottom side yet again. Nova and Umti not going to try and get in, and now the Paranoia is down. Hanwha Life do not need to respect it. They do need to respect this. So Songyun, so much damage. They'll get an inner turret at the same time, and this Ezreal is starting to pop off.
Hanwha Life playing away from enemy turret dives, really shooting them. They're bringing up multiple waves as well. Even Shen in the top lane can bring in a 3rd minion wave.
Yep, he's going to do so. That minion wave is gigantic as well as... Okay, Linderung, that was odd. Just going to put that one on cooldown just to make sure that they keep Jin Air accountable. Teddy going to jump in, but with these Baroned up minions, the low damage Mordekaiser just doesn't do enough, despite having that Runic Echoes to help him. Grace not going to get paddle start or slept. But Jin Air, they're going to lose their inhibitor turret on the top side. This one's ripe to fall as Songyun is going to charge the Mystic shots, get the autos in there with the Sheen empowerment, and they'll take down inhibitor number 2 in the mid lane, number 1 on the top side. And they could take that inhib on the bottom side as well if they wanted to, but they'll go back and shop. Make sure that they have all the items that they want. 3 items now on the Zoe.
And if you're an SKT fan, you're cheering for Jin Air Green Wings, because the team above you in the standings is Hanwha Life. They have been winless in the 2nd round robin, but they are so close to finding their first win against a Jin Air team that has fallen apart a bit as the series has gone on. Umti, another game on Nocturne you'll want to forget, even though his stat line looks very decent at 3-2-2. This would put another series between SKT and Hanwha Life in that race for 6th and obviously 5th eventually. We want to talk about the playoff spots, and also Hanwha Life closer and closer to Afrika, who currently sit in 5th place.
Yeah, and Afrika Freak's going to be playing in our last series of the night as well. If MVP can do something crazy and get a victory over Afrika, it certainly could be an opportunity for Hanwha Life to really get themselves into playoff mode. Wanting to avoid that wildcard match could be a great move, because having to play through a whole bunch of best of 5s is real scary.
Knight's Vow is on to Songyun. He doesn't have his Ceres transformation. Don't think he's too worried about that one. Walks up here. And Jin Air probably have to hard commit, because the wave is decent, but the poke is off the chain.
Yeah, Songyun is so huge. Every one of these Mystic shots is a massive deal. And look, just tanking up the turret, not worried at all, as will probably want to avoid going below half health, as he does so. Now, this inhibitor turret is just going to get brute forced. Super creeps were knocking on the front door of Jin Air, meant that they couldn't have a look at this back door on the bottom side of the map. And that tower is going to fall down very easily. Every Mystic shot matters as True Shot Barrage flies through as well. Getting everyone low, getting rid of all the shields. Teddy, not a lot of opportunities here as Iron Man not feeling like the Iron Man passive that it wants to be. Nexus turret's now under fire. Oh, Nova taking a big amount of damage as Umti wants that last fight as lava just instantly explodes. They trade it for the Nocturne, but maybe this is an opportunity. Grace has to flash his way out. Shockwave defensively on one target, as now Nova going to get dealt with. Songwon, he's done his job, but Teddy does manage to get the Children of the Grave. And now Songwon, can he actually just get rid of these members of Hanwha Live? Teddy should be able to fall down, but no, Sungyun, he just can't do enough damage. They get rid of the pig lady, but this Mordekaiser's been tanking for about 15 minutes.
That Spirit Visage healing, insane on the Mordekaiser. Shouldn't matter though, the Nexus is exposed.
It is, and Sungyun, he's got a lot of auto attack damage, and despite the heroic last team fight from Jin Air, they are looking at a series loss here in game number 3. 32 minutes in, Sungyun's alive, the teleport from Linderung, the last nail in the coffin.